Welcome, everyone, back to the show. Today, I am joined by Ryan Gardner, the CEO and founder of Buckedup Energy. If you don't know what it is, I welcome you to Planet Earth, the place where all beautiful supplements are built. Ryan, unlike all the other energy drink companies out on the planet, decided to bootstrap this energy drink called Buckedup. To last year in 2024, they sold 65 million cans. They do pre-workout, creatine gummies, protein. You guys do a lot of different things, and I consume your product daily. So I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So
Yeah,
appreciate.
no, yeah. My first question is, without getting too much in your backstory, you come from a very small town. You're raised by farmers. I'm also from a small town with less than 1,000 people. All the entrepreneurs I previously spoke to come from cities. So it's like, what was the mindset shift going from like small town country living to now you're one of the largest supplement brands that exist on the planet? And I'm sure that you travel all the time. And what has been like the biggest mindset shift going through that? I know that's a big journey that you.
Well, we were. So I run Bucked Up with my identical twin brother Jeff,
Yeah.
and we were born and raised on a farm in Clearfield, Utah, and we realized, after our missions that we served for our church, being here in Utah, we learned very quickly that hey, we don't want to, remain on a farm and be farmers.
Yeah.
So we would prefer to work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
But we do work hard at the same time. And that's kind of what's brought us to our success is that we are willing to put in the hard work to make Bucked Up successful.
Yeah, I heard in another podcast, like your mom started selling jewelry, and then when she started to expand that in your area, gave you that entrepreneur fire. My question
Yeah,
is like
yeah,
people that come from a small town or even a city that don't get exposed to entrepreneurship early on. I have two parents that were not entrepreneurs. It
uh-huh.
might be a little challenging to think like this probably is the best way to get wealthy if you really want to. How did that help you, or what advice would you give to a young person who might be indecisive of like where do you take your future? Am I going to be a farmer in the military, go to college? Like what's the advice to that young person?
Yeah, well, you probably ought to be something that, that you're passionate about. You know what I mean? When picking out something that you really like.
Yeah.
And we actually liked, supplements and the fitness industry. And then eventually it led us to doing energy drinks like even protein drinks, RTD protein drinks,
Those are good.
ready to drink. So it's all led to this part that we are at right now. So.
Okay. And if you were to give advice to somebody who has no idea what their passion is, they probably like they're young, they're like, maybe I just want to make money, or maybe I don't know, I want to see the world. They really don't have a passion. What advice do you have to that person?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were is just be willing to work hard in no matter what you do. And all those things are stepping stones to lead you to where you are, like where I am today. So for instance, I ended up going and working on a sales floor and calling on leads.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like, you know, okay, I just worked really hard. And I'm like, the guy who's making the money is the guy producing the lead.
Yeah.
And when the lead provider came in, I asked him for a job saying, hey, I want to learn how to produce the leads.
Yeah.
That's kind of what led us to affiliate marketing and driving traffic to people.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that all started, I didn't think that, hey, producing leads or being on a sales floor, then learning how to produce leads and then starting my own affiliate company and now led me to Bucked Up. I didn't know any of that was going to happen. I was just willing to work hard. I wanted to make some money. And then I took advantage of those different stepping stones along the way.
Yeah. So it sounds like you acquired a new skill at every level. It's like you started with jewelry, like your mom, you're like, okay, entrepreneurship could be a thing. Then it's like sales and then
Yes.
affiliate marketing. And then you start a digital marketing company that did really well. And then you start a supplement brand, right?
So just to back up, we were, born and raised on this farm. And then my parents, my mom ended up going to work because times were really tough.
Yeah.
So my mom ended up going to work and she showed us that, hey, you just start out working. And then eventually she did so well at this place, they asked her to own part of this jewelry business, which was like piercing ears. It's like a Claire's boutique in the malls,
Yeah.
Claire's, or where we were piercing people's ears. But then my mom got really involved in that. And then we saw that, hey, that's a great way to make money is to own your own business.
Yeah.
So
Would you say for anyone that's young and then they're like, I want to they just had like this drive of like, I maybe came from a family that didn't have a lot of money, lower middle class. Like I times are tough. Like I need to make money. I don't know what to do. Do you think entrepreneurship's the best vehicle, or would you say don't do what you did, go get into corporate America and write out private equity as a job or something like that?
Oh no, I think, it just happened to be that way for us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But times were tough. I saw that my mom was willing to go to work and then eventually own part of that business and then eventually own it all completely.
Yeah.
And so I saw the evolution of that. And I'm like, oh, if she can do it, so can anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I do, one big advice is that my brother and I, Jeff, had done a lot of different businesses, and we were doing a lot of businesses all at one time. And once we actually focused, I focused on the supplement company, and he focused on our social media company. That's when we made a lot of money.
Yeah. No, I think my backstory is like very similar to yours. Like I came from a small town, didn't know what business was. I got introduced to it and then I started a marketing company. But before that, it was like, let me try crypto, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, like everything all at once. None of it made money. I was like, okay, I'm going to spend 10 years building a marketing company, helping businesses grow, like small town businesses on social media. If that fails, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then at one point, it's like I start making money. It's like, oh, the
Yep.
power of choosing one thing, staying to one thing.
Yep.
Why do you think people just like get so sporadic? They try everything all at once. They're like, let me do all these, see which one works first, and then I'll be rich or something, as opposed to I'm just going to make something work. I'm going to pick one thing and stick to it.
Well, we were willing to work really hard. We actually were doing a lot of things really, really well. We were making money throughout all these different platforms that we were doing. We had a car business, we had websites going, we were buying domains, we were doing a bunch of different things. All of them made money and all of them did really well, but we wanted to do really, really well. And only until we focused did we actually do really, really well.
Okay. Yeah. Off of that, if people don't know the story, the way you get into Bucked Up is you see Sports Illustrated publishes a thing about deer antler spray getting banned, and
Yeah.
you decide to buy that domain, start a store. My question is like, you for entrepreneurs that are like looking out into the universe, like there's all these trends going on. What should I, choose to focus on? You saw an opportunity, you decided to purchase a domain and buy that, and it became a success. But ultimately, other people are in the position of like, I'm observing what I can buy, what I can do. They have no idea which one to choose without being too sporadic. What is the advice? Like, how did you know that
Well,
the spray would work? Or
all of no, I didn't know any of that would work. It all came down to the experience I was getting prior to that. So even before that, if you back up, we were buying domain names and we were also driving traffic to a lot of different people. They'd come in with a product or a service and they would say, hey, can you drive traffic for me? And of course we could. But eventually we got smart and we said, hey, we're not going to do this for anybody else unless we own part of the business or we own the business.
yeah,
Stop building, everybody else's business. We were doing well at it. There was only five of us in our business, and we were doing over 20 million in revenue. So we were like, hey, I'm sick of doing everything for somebody else and not building a brand and building a business that's ours. That's always somebody else's.
yeah,
So the next guy that came in brought in a product. He brought in a jar and said, hey, I have this product. It's an L-arginine product. And we were like, okay, well, we're not really going to promote anybody unless we own part of it. Within about an hour, we own 50% of the company.
wow,
And we told them, hey, all we want you to do is focus on making sure that we have product in stock.
yeah. You'll drive traffic. They,
And we'll drive all the traffic, we'll do the websites and everything based off the experience that we already had.
yeah,
And he was doing about $600 or $700 a day. And within a month, we were doing about $3,700 a day
yeah,
on driving traffic to the website. Then we bought a domain name called larginine.com because Google was rewarding exact match domains.
yeah. They
By
see
doing
what you
so,
see.
yeah, by doing so, we got listed at the very top of the search engines, and then also our pay per click was cheaper. Well, guess what? They ended up turning off all the pay per click
Yeah,
for L-arginine, and we were still the number one. Well, we ended up doing, $4 to $5 million a year just off that one single product. And we were like, wow, supplements is where it's at. Well, we just happened to be reading an article in Sports Illustrated that says deer antler spray is banned in Major League Baseball. And we were like, we're from Utah. We're hunters. What is deer antler spray?
Yeah. Helps with
Well,
recovery and
yeah, it helps with recovery. It's that ingredient that helps recover. And we went to the domain name and we bought deerantlerspray.com for $8 off GoDaddy.
yeah.
And
So oh,
we
sorry.
developed the product and everything else, but we took all of the experience that we had before that, and that's what led to Deer Antler Spray. And then obviously we started going to expos and we saw that they were selling pre-workouts, and we said, hey, we need to come up with a pre-workout. What do we call it? Let's call it Bucked Up and stick with the deer theme. And that's how Bucked Up came to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I want to get to the spot where you take 1,000 bottles to the expo and you sell that. But to backtrack, a lot of people that are in entrepreneurship that I talk to that are young and you're in your 20s doing this, you start driving traffic to businesses. I think you make it sound easy, but driving traffic to anything, if it's paid or organic, is a challenging thing if you don't
Right.
know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Were you just early to it and it naturally became easy to do Google or
Yeah, we were really early. In fact, we were one of the first people to start driving traffic for other people online. It was, you know, I remember the first time going down when I asked that lead provider for a job. I'm like, how do you attach something to an email? And
okay.
people were looking at me like, what? You've never been on a computer before? And I'm like, no. So how do I send an email and how do I make an attachment? Like, how do you attach something to an email? I didn't even know how to do that. And then
Interesting.
I learned how to do it. And then I started my own business about 2 years later, driving traffic and started an affiliate network.
Okay. And do you feel like a big problem that humans may face is like they see a demand, right? You saw a demand that maybe these businesses need more traffic, but the time that they take to actually take action on it, of like the idea, it's just so slow that by the time they end up doing anything, it's like it's too late. And your competitive edge is like you work hard, but you also take action really fast. Would you say
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fair?
I think that's a fair statement that, we here we make decisions fairly quickly and we're not stuck. We're like we trust our guts based off, experience, and that's what we did.
Okay.
Yep.
And so to go to back to this L-arginine thing, this business, right? They go from making $600 a day to now they're pulling in thousands of dollars a day. Like, what is their reaction to you? You're some 20-year-old kid, and they're like, "Holy!" Like, you literally just,
Well, they're like, you just put us on steroids,
yeah. That
you
must
know?
be a pretty insane feeling. Like, dude, did you know that it was going to work? Did you know you could do that for this business?
Well, based off the experience of driving traffic for other people, we felt like, hey, this is a great opportunity, and I think we can make this work. But we
Yeah,
still had to work at it and make it work. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
yeah,
yeah, I think whatever someone focuses on and puts their focus in, whatever plant they water, that's what's going to grow.
yeah.
And so we just focused our efforts on driving traffic and taking on opportunities like L-arginine.
What to loop it back to like somebody who is not in business, like what do you say to somebody who like they've never even seen $3,700 in a day like come into their business? They've never seen that in their life. They're like maybe a 9 to 5 person who wants to escape. They have no idea how to like they hear your story, they think it's inspiring, but they're like, yeah, that's Ryan's thing. Of course he's successful, he is bucked up. Like I couldn't do that. It's a mindset. Like, what do you say to
Well,
that person?
I always tell people because they always ask me, hey, how do I start my own business? I'm like, I wouldn't. I wouldn't start your own business until you get experience. And we were working for someone until we got that experience. And then we started working and doing things on our own. Even providing the leads, like driving traffic, I didn't do that on my own right off the bat. I went
Yeah,
and worked with someone that had the experience and they showed me the experience. And that was just a stepping stone to starting my own business. But, just to jump into something and say, hey, I want to do this. Well, good luck. You're going to go through a lot of pitfalls and you're going to go through a lot of learning curve. And why reinvent the wheel when it's already been shown? Now, once you've been shown, there's opportunities to make it better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And learn how to make it better. And that's where the entrepreneurial spirit comes into play.
So your advice is like, don't start as an entrepreneur. Go find a good opportunity
Oh,
or a vehicle and learn first.
exactly. 100%.
Uh,
Um, I would definitely go and work for somebody that you really have, um, that you have a desire to learn more about, and
yeah,
go and work for that person and see if it's actually something you want to do.
that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I you hear these podcasts, you see stories like yours where it's like this guy from a farm makes billions of dollars online, and it's like with a supplement, and it just I don't know. Sometimes people can romanticize it to the point where it seems so easy, and then you have these entrepreneurs who are delusional. It's like I'm going to do it too, and then 5 years
Yeah.
goes down the line, nothing happens. They have no idea. They're like, "Why did it not work for me?" And it's like, well, Ryan started and worked hard and got a skill, and you didn't do that. So
Yeah,
that's
and we've evolved over time. Like even with Bucked Up, we've evolved with supplements and nutrition over time.
yeah,
At first we were like, hey, why is everybody selling a pre-workout that's proprietary? Well, they don't want anybody ripping somebody off. And I'm like, well, let them beat me at marketing. I'm going to develop a pre-workout that has clinically proven ingredients at the clinical dose. And then I'm going to see if they can beat me at marketing. I'm just going to go and do it. And that's what we decided to do.
yeah. Show off the ingredients and
Yep.
allow people to see that transparency. That's
Yeah.
I think ultimately like that's one of the reasons my first time experiencing Bucked Up, I was in Florida and I went to GNC and I got your Sour Patch pre-workout and I was like, I'm a huge person with ingredients. I think I come from that era where we check everything and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this seems safe. Boom. And then I was hooked from that and got your energy drinks, creatine, gummies. Like it just,
Well, we saw a gap in the market, and we saw where the puck was going to go and not
yeah,
where it was. We skated to where it was going to be, and we said the gap in the market is non-proprietary blend products.
yeah.
And that's what we're going to produce and tell everyone what we're doing. We didn't care about the competition. We don't focus on them at all. And we just put our heads down and focus on what we can do best here at
I,
Bucked Up.
I love it. So to go back to this affiliate thing, I think affiliates is one of the most underutilized tools, right? Being able to find other people to be a promoter of your product and get a cut. What gave you the inspiration to be like, you know what, this sounds cool. I'm going to find other people to do this for me instead of having to build our own brand. We're going to have a network of other individuals doing this for us. And then that's the first question. Second question is like, how do you trust somebody enough to become an affiliate? Or do you just open the gates and you're like, anyone can come in and be an affiliate?
Well, okay, so at the first, I mean, we used the experience that we had with our affiliate network, and we applied that to ambassadors that we have today. We have over 90,000 ambassadors today. At the very first, we let anybody become an ambassador. We
Yeah.
wanted as many people as possible to shout us out. Now we do have requirements where they have to have a certain amount of followers. They're willing to post a certain amount of times, things like that. But at the first, we were like, "Hey, let anybody in and let's see if we can get some ambassadors," because we'd rather have an army of people instead of just one person shouting us out.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I could be wrong about this, but do you see other energy drink companies or companies just in general that don't utilize affiliates and they don't grow as fast? Whereas you decide, like, I'm going to have Alex Eubank and have Bryce Hall promote our product on our behalf, and we're just
Well,
going to
we did
focus
it.
on,
We did it opposite of what most people. Most people went out and got a big brand ambassador, a big athlete to
yeah,
start. We decided not to do it that way. We decided, hey, let's start out with the micro influencers, the small athletes, and then evolve to this point. Now we're going out and getting to people like Bryce Hall and Alex Eubanks and Conor McGregor and Bryson DeChambeau. We're doing bigger things now. You know what I mean?
yeah, okay. And so for like, let's say somebody's listening, they're like, I'm going to start a supplement. I have experience in product, but I think the best way to grow it is what Ryan did to get an affiliate network growing. Where do you say, is there like a way to grow an affiliate network in the beginning, or is there a strategy that you use that people don't think about?
No, we just developed our own, and we didn't even know that there was other people who had one. We just said, "Hey, let's start an ambassador program. Let's get people who have some influence and start utilizing them by giving them coupon codes and things like that to make it work."
Yeah.
and that's how we did it.
You think that maybe like sending free product first, like I see like,
Sending free product doesn't always work. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
Sending
always
free product, you're going to send out free product, and next thing you know, you're out a lot of money for free product.
I always see like Bang or Monster or like Celsius, they just like people on the corner handing out cans. I mean, obviously that's like a
Well,
different level of marketing, but
hands in hands, yeah, it's called guerrilla marketing, and they had extra money to be able to drive that. But if somebody's just starting out, where are they going to get the money to give the cans out? I mean, you've got to produce 50,000 cases at a minimum.
yeah, okay.
And where are you going to get that money to be able to hand those cans out, right? And keep in mind, guys, we didn't start out by having cans. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
started out as a sports nutrition company, and we've evolved into creating energy drinks and protein drinks. And those are expensive. They're heavy to ship. They're, you've got to be able to build out a distribution network and everything else. You know what I mean? In order to make that happen.
Do you think that there's room for people like a small creator like me who has 10,000 followers to go ahead and do something like that and be like, yeah,
Like
I
what?
could figure it out?
Energy drinks, you have no chance.
Say that again.
With energy drinks, you have no chance if you only have
Okay.
10,000 followers.
Interesting. Yeah. So like even so you with Logan Paul and Prime, right? Like you think you have to be like that level to launch a brand that has an energy drink before you can be successful?
Well, if you're just going to start off with launching an energy drink, I think so.
Okay. Yeah,
It's not as easy as most people think. I mean, you have to have a distribution network. You have to know how that works, how to take it to the market. There's a lot of other things involved in just having you know, an influencer.
okay. So
It's
to
actually a really tough thing to do, but I mean,
do you think like when you got started and GNC called you, that helped you set up those things? Like GNC now becomes a distributor, puts
that's
you in
right.
stores, like
That's
that's
right.
a
You start off with one distributor and then
yeah.
you grow your business from there. Yes.
Yeah.
But energy drinks, it's super expensive. You get involved, you have to produce a minimum amount of cans. It's it's a lot of expensive. You got to be able to just get it out there on the market.
I would ask you this question. It's like when a business entrepreneur starts, the first business that you open up shouldn't be a product based thing. It should be a service based. There's no overhead. There's no inventory cost. Like you started with marketing
That's good
agencies and
advice.
driving traffic.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's really good advice.
Yeah, and then like you said, use the capital that you have from a service based business.
And
Go
then
ahead
build that business.
and
Yep.
then fund a product. Like that's in my brain, that's the roadmap, and it seems like that's what you and your brother did.
Exactly. And it took a lot of years. I mean, we were doing it from, you know, we were doing it for, you know, 10 years before we ever started doing our own products.
Yeah, interesting.
But we were driving a lot of traffic. I mean, we were driving millions of dollars a month in advertising and marketing for people.
Which I think people miss out on. They see like, oh, like when I hear your story, you say you started a marketing company, but people don't understand the scale that you had it going at. I don't think because I've been
Yeah,
doing marketing for 3 years and it's like millions of dollars a month. Like some businesses in their entire lifetime will never hit that. You were doing that in your 20s and then you start bucked up.
yeah. I mean, we were really successful before ever doing Bucked Up. We did really well as an affiliate network. We were
Yeah.
driving major traffic, and we had cars and we had helicopters and everything before then. And now we have Bucked Up, and we just took what we learned from before and applied it to Bucked Up because we knew how to brand, we knew how to create landing pages, we knew how to drive the traffic. That's what we did. I mean, we were telling everybody else how to build their brand before.
Yeah.
We just did it ourselves.
What is that like being in your 20s? I'm 21. I have these aspirations of like what my life will be like once my business reaches a certain revenue threshold. Like what is it like you and your brother in your 20s? You're making an obscene
Well,
amount
we
of
were
money.
in late 20s. We were late 20s that we were making this money, like 27, 28 to in our 30s. And then is when we started Bucked Up.
What is that like take home? Like you're doing millions a month for clients and stuff, but are you and your brother like reinvesting everything? You're like sleeping on a
We
mattress, or you
never,
guys balling
we
out
never took any of our money until the end of the year.
to
Like
the end of the year?
we were raised to not have any debt, not take money unless you need it. I mean, and not take money unless there was money to be had. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
at the end of the year, we did a big distribution every year to cover taxes and to cover, our cost of living. So we would take whatever money we thought in order to, we did reinvest in our company, but, we were driving traffic for other people. We just had to pay our publishers and then we were making the spread or the margin in between. And so
Yeah.
we knew how much margin we had to pay tax and then whatever was left over is what we would take.
So I guess the question is like, were you early on in 20s in like late 20s, like really, I hear a lot of like entrepreneur growth stories is like sacrifice everything, sleep on a mattress, eat ramen. Like, were you guys living that life or were you pretty comfortable and
No,
you,
no, no. We were comfortable and keep in mind we were driving millions of dollars a month in traffic and we earned probably 20 to 30% margins.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So we had money. And then we would be able to say, hey, if we can pay off our house, pay off our house. Even though our financial advisors were like, hey, don't do that. We were always about peace of mind and not being strapped by cash or strapped by debt. And so that's we never like even today, we've never gone in debt with Bucked Up. We've never borrowed against the line of credit, even though we do have, 10 million plus in lines of credit that we have access to, but we've never touched it because that's not how we're built. We're built to not have anything strap us down. Like, our church is really good at that way. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is really good about that. They don't want you to do anything that could be addictive, like gambling or pornography or debt or anything
yeah,
that can actually have you lose your freedoms, right? And
yeah,
so what we always were is, hey, we're going to do this if we can afford to do it. If we can't afford to do it, then we don't do it. Like I don't go out and buy cars if I don't have money to buy a car.
yeah.
But even our houses, we'd pay them off. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Okay.
And we had no, like it makes life really easy that you don't have to worry about, you know, where's my
Yeah,
next
and
coming from or my next paycheck coming from.
yeah. I actually didn't know that. So you are a Mormon, you and your brother, or
Yep.
what? And this is not an offensive thing. Are Mormons not allowed to drink caffeine? Is that a rule or
No, no, they're not allowed to. That's not the rule. It was actually coffee, and
coffee? Okay.
coffee can be addictive. Same with caffeine, right? They just asked us not to, but really, that's not the whole gist of the rule. It's not that it's caffeine, but it's anything that could be addictive. Like caffeine can be addictive.
Yeah.
And so as long as you're doing that in moderation, they've just asked us specifically, hey, don't drink coffee.
Okay. Okay.
And that's just something that we choose not to do. Now,
Yeah.
caffeine is on the edge of, hey, it could be addictive if, that's why we always go on breaks for weeks at a time to be able to say, hey, our spirit is in control of our body. And it's actually just showing that, hey, I'm in charge, not my physical body that wants to go out and, rule the world.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. One of my clients is from San Diego. He's a Mormon, and when I was visiting him for a couple of weeks, every morning I'd buy a bucked up energy or something, or have my pre-workout, and I'd be like, "You want something?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh," but I didn't know the rule. I'm not that
No,
educated
that's
on it.
not what it's there for. Like, look, at the end of the day, the rules are there to give you structure on not being strapped or not get into a position where, hey, you lose your freedoms,
Cool,
right? And
got it.
so at the end of the day, that's really what it all comes down to. Now, there is laws of obedience, and when they ask us to do something, we do. Like
Yeah,
so if they said, hey, don't drink coffee, we don't drink coffee. That's just one of the rules.
yeah. Did you ever get lashback early on from parents or people from the community of like, you guys are building a supplement brand catered around caffeine, and you're also Mormon, or was that never a
Oh, you know
question?
what we got the hardest time is the name bucked up. It sounded
Right.
close to the F word rather
Yeah.
than that's where we got the hardest time. It had anything to do with caffeine, but people were like, "Wait, you called your company Bucked Up?" We were like, "Yeah, it's really catchy, isn't it? You won't forget it." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean,
Yeah, totally.
my parents couldn't stand that we called it Bucked Up, and they were like, "Hey, my boys own a supplement company." They would never tell people it was called Bucked Up.
Right.
Now, my parents go, "Hey, my boys own and run Bucked Up."
Yeah. No,
But
it's
kind of
interesting.
got over that phase, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and also like if people have an issue, it's just like your brand is like deer and buck. Like you could make an argument that way, but it is really catchy too. So,
yeah.
um, we were talking about no debt, and I didn't want to get sidetracked with this Mormon thing, but my main question is like you're one of the only supplement brands that didn't choose to get private equity backed, bought out by Pepsi, Coke, Dr. Pepper, which I think is really noble. Some people could easily slip into that. I hear even founders are like, we're going to wait to get funding before we start. And you were like, we're bootstrapping it, we're figuring it out. What's the advice there for somebody starting a business? What's the benefit other
Well,
than ownership of not
look, people can do whatever they want to do and they can go out and raise money. They can go out and do that. That's all great and everything. As for me and my brother, we don't believe in taking somebody else's money to work off of and build a business off of. We're willing to take our own money and put our money where our mouth is and go out there and work hard and show them that we can get it done. Now, another thing is that no one has leverage over you. We've had PE firms come in and we've said, "Hey, we want to invest in your company." And we're like, "We don't need your money."
yeah,
That's the thing. They have no leverage over us. And if you're in a different position where you're out there and you have big house payments and you have big car payments and funding a lifestyle that's really tough, well, you may need them to come in. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
then you now have to answer to them. We did actually have a PE firm that came to us and said, "Hey, we want to invest in your company." And we said, "We don't need your money." And they go, "But who's your distribution? Who are your distributors?" And we were like, "What's a distributor?" And they were like, "Well, you've released energy drinks and you've sold 4 million. How did you do it?" And we were like, "Oh, we just went out and sold it to mom and pop supplement shops, GNC and vitamin shop." And they're like, "So you have no distribution network?" And we said, "No." And they go, "Well, we have somebody for you and we
yeah,
can help you get to that next level." And we were like, "Oh yeah, what is it?" And they go, "We have the former CEO of Dr. Pepper and we want to bring him to Bucked Up." And we were like, "Wow."
that sounds
We
cool.
4 million energy drinks, and they were able to help us get to the next level. Not only did they invest in our company, we took it all off the table. We took
Did
all that money off the table. And a PE firm hates to do that. They have to answer to investors, right?
yeah,
When they came in, they go, "Well, what are you going to do with this money that we're going to give you?" And we're like, "We're taking it all off the table. You're buying our equity." And they were like, "No, we can't do that." And we were like, "It sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. We don't need your money. We have millions of dollars in the bank. We don't need your money." And
wow.
so when you put yourself in those situations, no one has leverage and they couldn't do anything, but they were like, "This opportunity is so good, we can't pass this up." And Gil, the former CEO of Dr. Pepper, can come in and help you build that distribution network. And now, like I said, last year we did over 60 million energy drinks.
Did is Gil still with you guys? Like, or was it like an interim thing? He was only
Yeah,
there for a little while.
we ended up hiring him as our COO, Chief
Nice.
Operating Officer, working under me and my twin brother, and it's been the best thing. He had the experience on how to build a distribution network. I hope I'm hitting home. You got to get the experience. You
Yeah,
got to go out and get experience or find someone that has the experience. One other thing that I would suggest and maybe give a tip to that if you're starting a business and you have some money, go out and hire someone that actually has the experience.
yeah,
For instance, when Gil came in, he asked this big salary, and we were like, that's a huge salary. He goes, "But if I can't 10 times or 20 times your revenue, then what's the point?" And I'm like, "Good point. That makes sense."
yeah,
And so we did hire him, and he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but it's worth every penny.
yeah.
He helped us get to that next level.
Do you feel like now that you have Gil on the team that in the future you're gonna, I mean, before you exit, right, for your goal is like 2 billion, you're gonna have to replace you and Jeff with somebody, or like you're gonna have to
But
probably,
look, I get my skill set can only take us so far. My
hmm,
look, I think even at this point, we're going to do close to, 300 million this year. And I think that at this point, it's going to require somebody with a lot bigger, different skill set than what I have. And somebody that's actually been in school. I don't like sitting in meetings. I
yeah.
don't I don't like talking to finance because I don't understand half of it. You know what I mean? But I do think that it will require somebody with experience that's been here before and how to take it to the next step. And that's where we're kind of at. And it's all good. Like I sit back and say there's always opportunity for growth, but it's going to require somebody that has that experience and that skill set.
Who do you think that would be? Do you think it's another former CEO of Dr. Pepper or something, or do you think it's a PE guy who can scale companies? Like, what do you think? What talent is necessary?
The thing is I kind of let things happen as they come.
Yeah,
When they're faced with it, I make the decision based off my gut feel
yeah,
and what I think would be best for the company, not just for me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, like, if a company came to us and said, "Hey, we want you to stay working here, stay working with the business," no problem. But hey, there's this guy that we want to bring to the table that could help take this to the next level. Great, by all means,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
What
So,
what is it like? I mean, this was my biggest questions is like having a company that almost like it outgrew you in a way where now it's like 300 million a year in revenue and like million hundreds like hundreds of millions of cans sold. Like, is there a point, what point was it where you're like sitting in bed or you're like, I own a thing that is outgrown me and it's like it's almost like a machine. It's like one of the largest energy drink companies on the planet. What does that feel like? How do you process that? How do
well,
you organize it in your brain?
here's the thing. Do I think that it's outgrown me? It's debatable because it's like growing up with a kid and your friends. They all grow up at the same time. And as you grow the business, you're also growing with
Yourself.
experience as well and
Right.
knowledge as well. And even some of the people that we have that surround us, I mean, not only did we hire Gil, but we hired a chief supply chain officer, a financial officer. All these people have helped build the business this way. So it's not just me building the business, it's the whole team,
Right.
and we all learn from each other and we're all taking the experience that we have and build the business. So when you say, hey, it's outgrown you, I'm like, has it? I don't know if it's outgrown me because I've grown with it.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
a it's a good reframe. I guess it was more the question of like, do you feel like you stare at the business that you created from the small can like company that was doing 3 to 5 sales a day to now, hundreds of millions of sales. Like you're like in my brain, I'm like, I don't even know what that would feel like, what that would look like. Seeing that amount of revenue would be pretty insane.
At the moment when you're in it, you're like, I mean, I remember going back and we had 30 sales in one day going to my wife, hey, we got to go down and pack up the 30 orders. And now where we are today, and I'm like, how did we get to here? Like
Yeah.
looking back, yes, you go, holy crap, we've grown a ton. But in the moment, you're right in the moment and you're working and doing everything possible to make it work. And so you kind of don't realize it until you take a step back and look back. I
Interesting.
remember my kids coming in and helping. And then we went on vacation to California and we walked into a Subway and my little daughter was wearing a bucked up shirt. And the guy goes, hey, are you a bucked up fan? Oh my gosh. Do you know bucked up? And she goes, yeah, Dad, tell him who you are. And I said, I'm the janitor at and they were like, I said I put out a lot of fires. I clean up a lot of mess at Bucked Up. And I didn't tell them that I was the CEO. But then when you look back and you go, wow, we've built a brand. Look at this. People are starting to recognize us out of the state of Utah. They're now recognizing us in California. And,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome to grow up, have my kids grow up and see that they can build a business and they can build a brand that people can recognize all over the country.
Do you think that that is a plan of yours, is like to instill that in your kids? I know that you do want to eventually
Absolutely.
sell Bucked Up. Would you ever think of giving it to your kids or holding onto it somehow for your kids to work
Like
there?
I look at it and like, hey, whatever happens, happens, right?
Yeah.
God will lead me down a path that says, hey, either it's time to sell or it's time to leave it to your kids or whatever. No problem. I mean, I kind of I kind of think opportunities come, and when those opportunities, either I choose to take advantage of them or not, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. I mean, this year, right? Ghost just sold to Dr. Pepper for like 1.6 billion.
Six.
I'm sure you watched that and you were like, okay, we might be next or something.
Yep.
How did that decision influence you? I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I was a huge Ghost fan. Their texture can's insane. Now they're shiny. I haven't drank Ghost in months, but that's like
Yeah.
a personal thing. Did, how did that decision influence what you're doing? Did it make you excited? Were you like,
Yeah,
oh
no, I just see the potential that we have as a smaller company that's getting to that level that Ghost was at,
yeah,
and being able to say, I mean, they were roughly doing about 500 million. We're going to be close to 300. We have 20% EBITDA. We're doing really well. Things are good. So we can't complain.
yeah,
And you know, we don't have any, no one has leverage on us, so it's not like we need to sell, but would it be nice? Yeah, I
yeah?
mean,
Why not?
why
That'd be
not?
cool.
I mean, the valuations are rising and things are going looking good, so why not? You know what I mean? If
What
that's what happens, I don't know.
what are like the variables? And this is like a really specific question, but what variables change your exit valuation? Is it like if you replace yourself or if you make the can like you dial in a
No,
product line? Is it more
no,
sales?
what really at the end of the day, right now in today's market, it's all about EBITDA, how much profit you're actually making. At
Yeah,
the end of the day. Back when Celsius was doing and Liquid Death, it was all about the revenue, the
yeah.
top line revenue. And so they would spend everything they would make. They would go out and get all these
Interesting.
influencers and they just want as much marketing spots as possible to grow the top line. Now, companies aren't like that. They're like, "Hey, we're going after EBITDA."
Have you gotten any big offers from a Pepsi, Coke, or Dr. Pepper or
I, I choose not to answer.
disclose? No, that's fine. I'm sure like in a
But
couple
we have
years.
people approach us. Look, we have a lot of people approach us. Obviously, they want you when you're smaller than when you're bigger because it costs them that much more later on, right? And
Yeah.
so there's people who, obviously we've been in talks and we've talked to people and, it's just part of growing, your business.
Did you ever see like how Coke or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper they notice your growth, you maybe decline an offer, they're like, okay, we're gonna push back. You're our competition. Did you ever feel any pressure or like tactics they would use to push you out of certain markets or try to
No,
decrease your
no, because
sales?
there's always somebody else that's willing to do it if it's a good business. So like once again, they don't have leverage. Look, we didn't really say to people that we're available. So it's like, hey, we'd like to talk to you. Sure, you can talk to us all you want. Hey, we're just not ready right now.
Yeah,
And, but eventually we'll be ready.
nice.
You know what I mean? But right now we just told them, hey, we're not ready. We're not at the point. We'll give you a quick overview of our business and what we're looking at. And, we'd love to talk to you in the future. So it was never like, hey, you're our competition. They're still part of the business that we could say, hey, we're ready to go now. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Do
So
you,
it's never like we pushed off and said, no, you can't buy us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know if like a competitor would use tactics to try to minimize your sales. I've heard like Papa John's interviews where he's growing 3 to 5,000 stores now. Like there's other competitors that are trying to do certain tactics to like push them out of markets and stuff. I didn't know if you experienced that at all.
Yeah, well, look, Monster and all of them will try to, keep their space, and they don't like competitors coming in and taking their space, obviously. But at the end of the day, what sells sells. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
What my last question for you? I appreciate you spending the last 45 minutes on the pod. What is it going to be like, or what do you envision? I'm sure that you've thought about it. The day that you and your brother Jeff sell $2 billion, you have some massive amount of money hit the account. You have your family, your kids. Are you going on a big trip? Are you buying a yacht, a jet? Like, are you
Sure.
just gonna?
No, I would definitely do a vacation with the family for sure.
Any
You know,
place, where would you go?
the thing is we already kind of are able to enjoy those things anyway, right? We're
Yeah.
able to enjoy those things as we've built our business over the years. And so, you know, I'm just looking forward to the next venture, I guess. You know what I mean? So I have like 5 or 10 other ideas that I'd like to do. And now that I've had this experience, I can bring things to market way faster than I did with Bucked Up.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I know you're not a type of person to just settle into retirement. You're going to build some other billion-dollar thing, which would be really exciting to see. That's
I
really
have
cool.
I have a few things in mind.
Anything that you're looking and peeking into with AI at all, or is that kind of off the radar?
AI is the next wave of the future. It's definitely AI. A person will ask me, "Hey, what should I get into?" AI. That's the number one answer. Anything to do with AI. We've actually implemented AI into our business here at Bucked Up. It saved us with customer service. It saves us with all sorts of marketing, design, pay-per-click, SEO. It's helped us tons through our business with AI.
Do
And
you,
AI is the wave of the future. It's going to take over for sure.
do you feel like a lot of employees or people that have jobs right now, their jobs are threatened for the next 5, 10 years if AI,
No, they
does.
they feel threatened if they're not doing their job. Yeah. But if they're actually learning how to do AI themselves and they're on the forefront of what's coming out with AI, they're going to help your business grow. And whether they choose to go off and do their own business, to each their own. But we're very, very big on AI here at Bucked Up.
That's
We
cool.
actually launched we actually launched Ask Buck Anything, and Buck will answer anything fitness related. It'll even build out workout plans, meal plans. It'll build out everything for you. And that is our own fitness app.
I love that. That's cool. Where can everyone find you, Ryan?
Buckedup.com. My Instagram and TikTok is at buckedupceo, so you can follow me if you would like. But it's buckedup.com, and on there you'll see all the different products we have. You'll see Ask Buck Anything, things like that. So
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Alex.